Ho, you came. You know how happy it makes us when you come. This is The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. All rights to the book and presentation are reserved. Take your seat. You know the way by now. You know the rules by now. They're small rules. You can survive them. This is Chapter 120, Arrivals. Dr. D silently listened to Bertie's profanity-laced tirade for about 5 full minutes, signaling for Michelle to take their children upstairs. When Bertie had blown out his tempest, and his voice returned to a civilized decibel, Dr. D told Bertie that he loved him. That took Bertie with far more force than a roundhouse blow. He staggered back and sat on the floor with a thud. Now he was able to listen. Dr. D explained the events of that afternoon. He too was confused, he said, but he had done some research. He had never encountered this before, but he assured Bertie that many in his profession had seen it. There was a growing body of literature on this phenomenon. When Bertie protested that he was the baby's father and that he had the right to know what was going on, Dr. D tried to calm him. He told Bertie that it was Bianca who had forbidden him to tell Bertie what was happening. Bertie, she won't even see the baby. She insisted on a cesarean when there was no indication that one was required. And now she refuses to even hold her child. I think the best course of action is to give Bianca a bit of time to acclimatize to being a mother. I'm sure that if we all are patient, we can get back on track. Until then, I think we have to follow Bianca's lead. Bertie called his father to tell him what had happened, and he sobbed into the phone. Oscar looked into Colette's eyes with so much sadness that Colette assumed that the baby had died. Tears ran down her face. As Oscar tried to comfort their son, Colette pieced the events together. Oscar immediately understood that job one was triage to rescue Bertie's heart. Once Bertie was stabilized, he would be able to be on the team to save Bianca and the baby. Once Bertie stopped sobbing, they made a practical plan. Colette gave written notes to Oscar to help him. He asked Bertie if Bianca had packed a bag of clothes. Bertie replied that she had not. Colette handed Oscar another note with a list of items for Bertie to take to her in the morning. He seemed to calm down as he wrote down all the items, but in his panic, his panic resurged when he realized that he had nothing for the baby. Bianca had never shopped for the baby. I should have seen this coming, he said in hushed horror. Colette took the phone then, and she assured Bertie that she would have an entire wardrobe for his daughter. Please, don't worry, Bertie. You have a family, and so does your daughter. We will be there with you every step of the way. Bertie knew it was true, and after packing the bag for Bianca, which included her toiletry bag from under the sink, he was so exhausted that he laid on his bed and slept. At 9 a.m. the next morning, Colette and Oscar met Bertie in the parking lot of the hospital. Bertie hugged his parents in a way he had not hugged them since long before the wedding. He clung to each of them in an extended hug, but when he straightened up again, he was a man full of resolve and sudden maturity. Together they walked into the hospital, and Bertie inquired about Bianca's room. He was directed to the nursing station on the Hennigan wing. When Bertie asked for Bianca's room at the nursing station, he was informed that she was not accepting visitors. Taken aback, Bertie looked at his parents and then said, "But I'm her husband." With a knowing look of concern and compassion, the nurse said, "I know, Monsieur Saint-Laurent, but I have my orders. If that bag you're carrying is for your wife, I can take it, and I can deliver it to her. In the meantime, why don't you go down to the nursery? I can phone ahead to ensure that they know who you are, and you can meet your beautiful daughter there. Dr. Donovan has arranged for you to spend time with her. She has really become a favorite of all the nurses. In fact, most of us sneak down to the nursery on our breaks to hold her. She's utterly exquisite, she finished with a sad smile, reaching for the suitcase Bertie was holding. Colette and Oscar knew the way to the nursery, and they led Bertie to the window there. There, in a little bassinet, was a pink and healthy little girl with a mop of curly black hair. The cardboard insert at the end of the bassinet said that her name was Alicia Saint Laurent. Alicia, Bertie repeated. What a beautiful name, Bertie. How did you ever come up with it? It is beautiful, Mama, but I do not know how she came up with it. It's not one we ever discussed. It's perfect, said Oscar with a nod. A young nurse peeked out of the door of the nursery window. Monsieur Saint Laurent? She asked. When they all nodded, she continued, Dr. Donovan has arranged for you to spend time with your daughter. Would you like to follow me? When they moved as a group toward the door, she said, I cannot let you all into the room for long, but if it's agreeable, perhaps you can all meet little Alicia and hold her for a moment, and then she and her papa can spend time together in the rocking chair in the nursing room. They nodded. They entered the small room, and they waited just a few minutes until the nurse returned with a bundle wrapped in a pink striped blanket. A mop of black curls protruded from the folded open end of the blankets. They all stared in wonder as the sprightly nurse spoke to them. This little angel has become a nursery favorite. She has the sweetest temperament and such beauty. She handed the baby to Bertie, who was sitting in the rocking chair. Monsieur Saint Laurent, may I introduce you to your lovely daughter, Alicia? And Mademoiselle Alicia, may I introduce you to your father, Monsieur Saint Laurent? Bertie's hands had never seemed so large. With wide-eyed wonder, he accepted the bundle, and when he looked into the blanket folds, he found a lovely little face, dominated by blue eyes, looking calmly back at him. That's the end of chapter 120. We look forward to you coming back for 121, and that's called True Love. These moments in life, even if other people think they're schmaltzy, they are so profoundly meaningful to the people involved. We hope you'll come back and participate vicariously. I remain your friend, Deborah.